was at the boxer's trainer's channel, and I don't know. Today, it's kind of like a bad day to talk about boxing. At least for Connor Benn and Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearns and the Hearns family, Papa Hearns, Eddie's dad, are in outrage that Connor Benn would sign with Zuffa Boxing, right? It's like they believe that it was a real big thing for Connor Benn to sign with another promotional agency after all the things that Eddie Hearns and the Hearns family went through protecting the best interests of Connor Benn, especially as it pertains to the steroid allegations, right? That at the end of the day were proven untrue by the boxing associations, right? By the boxing commissions. The events circled around Connor Benn's allegations of steroid use were suppressed. They were suppressed because the Hearns family believed in Connor Benn, right? They actually accepted Connor Benn as a family member. I mean, that's saying a lot, especially in the UK, right? For Connor Benn to be accepted by the Hearn family. Now, let me say this. The Hearn family is on a high level when it comes to societal demands, right? They're the elite, if you will, in Great Britain, right? And so they have a lot of influence. And I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that if it wasn't for the Hearns, that Connor Benn may have been found guilty of steroid use, right? I'm not going to say that because there's no evidence to support that claim. But the fact remains the same. Connor Benn had two steroid allegations filed against him, right? And they amazingly went away. And we have to say that the influence of the Hearns family had something to do with that, because you don't just walk away from steroid allegations unscathed. Ask Ryan Garcia, right? Ask those who have been in similar situations and came out not smelling so good as did Connor Benn, right? So the question becomes at this juncture, was it right for Connor Benn to sign with Zuffa Boxing after all the loyalties that were given him by the Hearns family? Specifically referring to Eddie Hearns. Eddie Hearns actually went beyond the pale to represent Connor Benn, right? So, quite naturally, the Hearns and Eddie are going to feel a certain way about Connor Benn's not having enough decency to call him prior to signing the contract with Zuffa Boxing, right? He instead text messaged Eddie Hearn saying that he was going to Zuffa Boxing for one mega fight opportunity, right? Just one, right? Now, whether it's one or two, three or four, isn't the question. The question is, are you scathing yourself by putting the Hearns in a position where you have them feel disloyalty? Is the money you'll receive from Zuffa Boxing worth putting yourself in a position where people are going to critique you for having no moral background, no moral backbone? What's more important here? Specifically referring to the boxing community as well, right? Those boxers that get up every day and put the work in to become good boxers, great boxers, Is it worth it to go into the game having no moral backbone, having no loyalties to the sport of boxing and the team that represents you? Is this okay? Not for me. Nothing personal. I have nothing against Connor Benn, but the smell of disloyalty is not a good thing to my nostrils. It's not. It's not. Because it goes like this when it comes to disloyalty, right? If you was disloyal to Eddie Hearns, you will more than likely be disloyal if the opportunity presents itself to Zuffa boxing. See, I know that Zuffa boxing had something to do, no, I'll say a huge impact on influencing Connor Benn to jump ship. Zuffa boxing, right, is basically Turkey Al Sheikh. Now, I'm not saying Turkey Al Sheikh had anything to do with this. We need to lay the liability at the door and the foot of those that participated in this outrage. Dana White. Dana White and Eddie Hearns are not friends. In fact, it's safe to say, I won't go as far as to say they hate each other, but it's close, right? Because they're constantly at one another, saying the foul things, right, that only people that really, really, really dislike one another would say. Right? Now, is it okay for Connor Benn to get in the middle of that? No, it's not. It's not. That's personal. That's between those two guys. You know what I mean? Those two promotional factions, right? They have a thing about each other, right? That is between them, right? And for Connor Benn, based on the notion that the money that he's been allotted for whatever the contract reads, right? He says that he did that because he wants to make sure his family has a good life as he did. That's perfectly okay, right? But when it comes to stepping on somebody's toes to get to where you're going, that ain't okay. It's simply not. You know what I mean? We don't do that. You know what I mean? I don't, right? I'm a loyalist. And I've said that many times on this podcast. I'm a loyalist, right? I believe in honoring the integrity of how I'm built, right? I believe in right, period. There's no right and wrong or no right versus wrong with me. I believe in what's right. You know what I'm saying? And I think somewhere down the beaten path, Connor Benn doesn't or can't distinguish the two, right and wrong, right? So this conversation that we're having, right, it's a good conversation, not only for the boxing community, but for the world when it comes to loyalty and integrity, right? Because at the present time and date, right, this country continuously proves that it has no integrity, right? With Donald Trump at the helm, right, this country puts itself in a position that it has no honor and no loyalty. But we're not talking about this country, right? We're talking about Connor Benn, right? Connor, when, really, as Bill Haynes said, Connor, when are you going to get a belt, right? And see, here's the deal. This makes this really, 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 really ugly because Connor Benn is really not the celebrity model, right, to have conversation about. He's not. What has Connor Benn done in the boxing game other than beat his rival? You know what I mean? Chris Eubanks Jr. What else has Connor Benn done other than put himself in a position where we're having this conversation this morning about loyalty and integrity? God, those are some big words that the majority of us, right, have feelings about. I do, and I know it's a lot of y'all do, because that's the way you was brought up, to have loyalty and integrity. You know what I mean? So look, I'm not going to make a big thing about this. I think I did a good job at already doing that, right? But I think if Connor Benn is listening, right, you owe some people an apology. You can't use the money and the family um, response to justify your behavior, man. Your behavior is unacceptable. It's nasty. You know what I'm saying? Boxing is a cool, cold sport. Cold, not cool, cold sport, right? And me, I try to, you know what I'm saying, get around that. I don't want to be a part of that mentality. You know what I'm saying? You never hear me talk really, really bad about a boxer unless he got it coming. You never hear me talk down on a boxer or a promotion company unless they got it coming. You know what I'm saying? So let me say this before I get up out of here, right? Boxing is one of those sports, right, that has to maintain some loyalty, some dignity. It has to, or it won't survive. You know what I'm saying? That goes to world events as well, right? We have to have some loyalty. You know what I'm saying? We have to be able to trust one another, especially in the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to teams, promotional schemes, and things, right, we have to have some loyalty. You know what I'm saying? So I want you guys, you know what I'm saying, to put your position in the comment section on Connor Benn, right? Whether Connor Benn was right or wrong for leaving Eddie Hearn's Naturals promotions. You know what I'm saying? Whether he was right or wrong for jumping ships on Eddie Hearns and Hearns family after the Hearns family put in a lot of work, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that Connor Benn had a boxing career. Damn, that's cold. That being said, hit that subscription button, hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, and let me know if y'all think Connor Benn is wrong for jumping ship on the Hearns family. That being said, man, I got to go.